teenagers of our age, Her Majesty Queen Noor, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who was also a recipient of the award, President Jimmy Carter, and others. I feel humbled by your statement that the honor is bestowed upon me for my lifelong commitment to engage in the battle for peace among all the peoples of Sri Lanka, despite our formidable history of tragic and terrible divisions and violence. Search for Common Ground, since its inception in 1982, has engaged in extraordinary work to bring divided peoples together, focusing on their commonalities rather than their differences. I have had the pleasure of associating and working with Search for Common Ground in Sri Lanka during the past few years, as our objectives and the programs we engage in, both at the Office for National Unity and Reconciliation, ONUR, which I chair, as well as in my foundation, South Asia Policy and Research Institute, are similar to those of Search for Common Ground. The exceptional and very creative work you do in various parts of the world is most impressive and inspiring, particularly in our age when cynicism and lack of hope seems to be taking over the world. In the blurb that you had issued about me, you talk about the violence I have undergone. It is true that my life has been besieged with personal loss and violence. My father, husband, and I, as well as numerous colleagues, have been victims of terrorist attacks carried out by terrorists of various types. But statedly for the same reason, that we engaged in the task of building an inclusive nation with justice for all. I realized through all the pain and tribulations that violence only begets violence, and it could be quelled only through understanding and love. In the words of the Buddha, as well as other religious prophets. With the end of the world wars and the Cold War, the world is now experiencing violent conflicts across the globe, especially in the developing world, with a large number of them taking on a terrorist nature. Terrorism has become the most terrifying and destructive phenomenon of our age. I stand here today with you at a moment of deep sadness for my country. We suffered a devastating terrorist attack 2 months ago, targeting innocent humans peacefully at prayer in their churches on Christianity's holiest day, as well as tourists in their hotels, killing nearly 300 adults and children. Investigations are revealing that the criminals had links to global terrorist networks. We have yet to elucidate the hidden hand or hidden hands behind this crime perpetrated with ruthless precision. However, one fact is clear, that Sri Lanka, a small and less powerful nation, yet occupying a most crucially important strategic location in the Indian Ocean, has become a victim of superpower rivalry on the one hand, and consequently of interest to others who need to express globally their message of hate, anger, and vengeance. The madness has gone viral. The battles have spread globally. It does not suffice, however, to define these violent movements as terroristic. and to believe that they could be erased totally by military means. I believe that we must seek out the deep-rooted causes of such conflict and find solutions for each country. However, we witness all around us the use of mainly military methods to resolve violent conflicts. To employ the weapons of terrorists to fight terrorism and violence has proved to be futile. It may be more productive to use weapons that do not exist in the armory of the terrorist. That is, the weapons of understanding, discourse, and negotiation. This, coupled with an honest intent to resolve the root causes of each relevant conflict, may prove to be more effective. We must recognize that perceived injustice, social and political inequality, as well as economic deprivation, are the causes that compel young people to take up arms and fight the might of the state, going even beyond territorial boundaries through the employ of modern electronic technology. We have to find solutions to poverty and the resultant inequality. We must also strive to build inclusive and shared societies where all communities living within the nation must be included as equal partners, enjoying equal rights in the economic, political, and socio-cultural spheres. Economic growth must not only indicate wealth formation in a country. It must also ensure that wealth is fairly distributed among all and not concentrated in the hands of a few. When building an inclusive society, it is essential that all communities be guaranteed respect and free expression of their separate identities and have access to equal opportunities. Then, all citizens will become a productive and vibrant part of the country, celebrating the richness of its diversity while unitedly building a strong and stable country where peace will reign. As a young woman, I had a dream. It was a dream of peace and prosperity for my little country, endowed with stunning natural beauty, yet riven with division and hatred, made worse by an equally stunningly inept political class. The power of my dream helped me to climb many rocky mountains and lay the foundations for, I don't have my specs, for a good and humane Sri Lanka, working resolutely towards peace and harmony, together with the vast majority of Lankans who share my dream. That dream has been shattered cruelly many a time. Yet, I have faith that the seeds we sowed have firmly taken root and shall grow and flower once more in more conducive conditions. I wish to take this opportunity to express my admiration to Queen Noor for the dedicated work King Hussein and now she is carrying out in the world for this very purpose. I would also like to express my gratitude to our friends in the international community for the support extended to Sri Lanka in our efforts towards economic development and in building national unity and a durable peace. We need your support continuously, now more than ever, in our battle for democracy and peace. May I offer my deep gratitude to Search for Common Ground and its leaders for according me this honor. A special thanks to Nawaz Mohammed, Country Director of Search in Sri Lanka, who unfortunately couldn't be with us for a technical reason. May I also dedicate this award to the hundreds and thousands who are the unsung heroes of the struggle for peace, understanding amongst all beings, and to all my colleagues and associates who have walked the difficult and challenging paths we have had to take in our journey towards peace in my country and elsewhere. I also dedicate this honor to my dear parents who bestowed upon me an undying faith in the goodness of humanity and the inspiration to dedicate myself to build a better world and the courage to face all challenges. A special dedication to my two children whose love, understanding and tolerance of my mad obsessions gave me strength and inspiration to go on. Finally, let us together build a world free and safe for difference, a world where diversity will be celebrated and not rejected. Let us campaign extensively among leaders of governments and the international community, as well as non-governmental and civil society organizations, there are many today, for such a policy to be activated, setting aside the interests of individual states and power blocks, if the world is to exist at all. I am deeply grateful to you all for giving me of your valuable time and being present here today with us. Thank you.